I'm Alexander Alec, and this is the Foxfire Podcast, where we explore shamanism, safety, and culture. I'm Alexander Alec. Welcome to the Foxfire Podcast. Today I'm here with Annika Berman, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about shamanism and the people who practice it. Hello, Annika.
Hello, Alexander. So in our last episode, we promised to begin to define shamanism. Let's start with the people who practice it.
Great. Sounds good.
So who is doing this, and why might they seek out this type of work or practice?
Well, over the years, I've found many different reasons that people come to shamanic work and practices. Some of those reasons are personal and some are professional. And most commonly, people tend to come to shamanic work seeking healing, and healing for themselves specifically. They may visit a practitioner, they may read a book or attend a class, but what they're mostly looking for is a way to work with their own spirit and to heal what hasn't healed through, let's say, working with their mind or their body or their emotions. So shamanism in that sense will add the spirit dimension to their healing. And I would say really most people are looking for that. They'll come into shamanic work and go back out. They're not looking to become a shaman. They're not looking for, a longer commitment. They're just really asking, will this help me heal, finish my healing, take me further on my healing journey, for example. For other people, they'll come to shamanism looking for a spiritual pathway and also spiritual practices. Now, shamanism is a little bit different in this sense because it adds in the component of earth and the cosmic energies or divine energies. It also brings in the aspect of the plants, the animals, stones, and ancestors. And some people come to this work looking to find their roots, and also to seek out connection. Also here, it's really common that people are also looking for community, and community of people, I would say like-minded community. So community, and that might be people who live together historically, but community today, especially in the world we live in today, can also mean just people who gather around this work. I would say they gather around maybe a place to work, a place to gather, or maybe what draws them together is a certain area, or like where they live or where they like to come to connect to the earth. And that can be a really, really strong motivator. It can also be a really, really strong way to experience community and connection. And again, spirit, our spirit, but also our spirituality. So in this sense, it's also a personal journey that people like to or want to go on. And again, that would really be about finding people, finding connection, finding themselves, finding worldview in this sense, and also, where am I? What's my place on the earth? And how do I bring this together? In 2024, how do I live well, and do I live with every part of my being? So mind, heart, body, and spirit, and live in community, in good relationship to the earth.
You mentioned people who do this professionally. What could that look like?
Well, there's two different ways we can look at that. One way to look at that is what I would call people who want to do shamanistic work. And what I mean by that is there are people who already have a A practice, let's say, for example, a healthcare practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe
Yes.
psychotherapy, or they're a nurse or a coach, or they're working in a way that's already established. It's another profession. And first, these people professionally, what they want to do is bring in an aspect of shamanism into their work. And they may bring that in through a single practice or a few practices. And so that would be shamanistic work. It's a way to expand your practice.
And bring a little bit of spirit into their work?
Well, exactly. Most models that we live in and work in the West don't include spirit. We really look at body, we look at mind, for example, but we really don't include spirit. So for some of the people that I've met and worked with over the years, they have experiences in their practices. Again, I'm referring to like nursing or psychotherapy, for example, and they have experiences that could take them outside of what they've learned. So for them, bringing in a shamanic practice can help them help their clients or patients. And it basically, I would say, really grows or expands their professional work. And then there are people who, through a lot of time and training, and usually this is over decades, will completely step into the shamanic worldview and really step into fully being trained and fully, potentially, if they're asked, step into a position of acting as a shaman for a community. This is a lifelong process. It is a very big commitment. It is, if you do that, that is what you would do for your life. It's not something that's entered into lightly, and unfortunately it is turning into a more and more rare occurrence these days. Part of the reason that this is such a really long training and work is your role basically is, if you're going to be working with people or places or animals or so that are sick, and are out of balance, you really need to learn a lot. For example, if you're going to be working with people with a certain kind of disease process, you need to understand what that disease is. So it's one reason it just really takes such a long time and such a large amount of training to really step into that role and hold it for a community.
I know you work in this way, but you don't call yourself a shaman. Can you explain why?
Well, for me, it's not an identity, and it's not even really a title. It is a position that I hold, and I've held it for some decades for our community. It is something that hopefully I will pass on to someone else at some point. So again, it's really not about me. It is really about the position and the work, the role and the function, and again, hopefully that will pass on to someone else.
You've mentioned practices quite a bit, but what does that mean in a shamanic sense?
Well, let's talk about practices in our next episode. The Foxfire Podcast is hosted and produced by me, Alexander Alec. Co-hosted by Annika Berman. This season's theme by Century Music. Special thanks to Kati Meaden and Christian Roth at goyippie.net, Ellie Hale and Rhiannon Morgan at University of Birmingham, and to the whole team at the Foxfire Foundation in Berlin, Germany. You can find us at Apple Podcasts, foxfirepodcast.com, or on your favorite app. If you like our show, please subscribe, follow, or we'd love some stars and a review. For our release schedule and behind-the-scenes pics, we're on Instagram at Foxfire Podcast. Until next time.